Alright, welcome back guys to another episode of the Four Corners Podcast. I'm Scott.
Steven.
Zach.
I'm Colin.
Alright guys, today we've got the game review that we've been talking about for this past week. But we'll get into that a little bit more here in a second.
We've actually been requested to do it a few times, actually.
Yes.
Did we?
Yes, we have done.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Nobody tells me these things.
Don't worry about it. That's why you're not in the loop.
But before we get into that, I want to give
I helped create the show.
I want to give a very special shout out to the Dave Dynasty Show. They've been kind enough to help plug us on their Facebook account, and we really appreciate it. They are another wrestling podcast as well. They do a great job over there. They've had a ton of tremendous guests on, a really good quality podcast to listen to. I would highly suggest checking them out and subscribe to them on YouTube at the Dave Dynasty Show. And I want to send also a very special thank you to the Wrestling Theology Fellowship. Stephen and I had the honor and privilege of going there on Friday night. It was truly a great show, I thought.
I had a lot of fun. Actually, one of the guys who I've been wanting to see live in action was Sugar D. He's well known around the country. I've never actually seen him in person. Really, really cool guy. Really hilarious. That's just my own personal thing. Actually saw a lot of people I haven't seen in a while. Dale Patrick's, haven't seen him in a few years. Anthony Totali, haven't seen him. It was really good meeting up with him.
It's actually funny you bring up Anthony because I had talked to him earlier.
He's hilarious.
Well, he has agreed to be on an episode of the podcast. We are looking to get Anthony on May 13th edition of the podcast. We're going to have him on, talk to him. Just kind of get his insights on the wrestling business, ask him some other general questions and stuff. It'll be good to pick his mind. He's a hell of a worker, trained by a friend of the podcast, Steve Wilson, Congo Kong. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the show at Wrestling Theology Fellowship was fantastic. They had really a little bit of something for everyone. If you wanted brawls, you wanted technicians, you wanted high flyers, they had it all. Great venue. I would like to go back again when I get the chance to, as long as work works with me with the scheduling. But
They also have a show April 20th, isn't that right, Bob?
yes, April 20th, they do have one. It is called Unprofessional. And it will have Jimmy Jacobs as a special guest who will be challenging Drew Skills, the new and inaugural WTF champion.
Sorry, go ahead.
I would say it should be a great match. Both are incredible workers.
And also, if I'm not mistaken, one of the Naptown Dragons, Scotty Vortex, should be there too. He should be facing Jeremy Hadley, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Jeremy Hadley.
That's what I thought.
Well, with that, do you guys have anything you want to say before we get to the reviews?
Okay, they're gonna mess up. But,
Passing love notes to one another.
yeah, why not?
Whoa, no.
Just send text to each other. It's easier.
We like to go old school.
I appreciate that. Well, then just
Yeah.
hand notes. There's no teachers here. You can hand notes all you want. But, yeah, I think March Madness was great. I think so far we're in the Final Four now.
Very surprising Final Four.
Very surprising.
What's left of someone's bracket is limped to the Final Four.
Yeah, nobody's even close to perfect anymore.
I just saw a thing on ESPN that said 0.03%. So one person out of the 8 million brackets had Loyola going to the Final Four.
I call shenanigans.
Yeah.
So
It's probably somebody from Loyola. It was
Probably.
probably Sister Jean.
And I was probably the only one that put him there.
Probably.
I'm rooting for them to make it to the finals, but I'm hoping who do they play?
Nova?
They play Michigan next.
Okay.
Ooh, will be a good match.
I'm
And
hoping
Kansas plays Nova.
Yeah.
I hope it's
But,
Kansas and Loyola because I want a Big 12 team to win.
Of course.
I'm sure you do play.
Listen, it is important in college for a Big 12 team to win because then my team looks better and we have a better chance and we look better. Because if you beat the champion, you're going to look better.
Didn't you shit on him like 5 podcasts ago over him cheering at
That was in the NFL.
NFC
No. We're talking just college, and you shit on him too because we discussed this in.
Yeah, but now he's not the one going back on it though.
No. I'm saying NFL is stupid. Pro is stupid.
What's the
college
difference?
The difference is that they don't look at rankings.
These are the same two fucking drinks.
Okay.
And if one said that they were in the NFC South and they wanted to cheer the NFC South team when their
That's
team
stupid.
got out, yes. What if
Stupid.
this drink wanted the Big 12 team to win?
That's brilliant.
This is stupid.
No, you're stupid.
They're both dumb, but these are great drinks.
First off, no, it's
Alex
stupid.
says
It's stupid to root for a pro team that's a rival of yours. It's acceptable to root for a college team because they think about it. If Alabama loses, they probably want another SEC team to win. Otherwise, SEC looks bad.
Hang on. First of all, tonight I was watching the Kansas Duke game and I wanted Kansas to whoop the fuck out of
So
Duke.
did I because I wanted the
Sorry.
Big 12 to win. Why do you
You're a
apologize?
North Carolina fan. You should want them to lose every time.
Yes, I do. I want Duke to just never be in a tournament ever again.
No.
That's what Trips
No,
got what he exactly wanted.
Now I do have
And deserved.
I have a little catch to that. I hope Baylor loses every game they ever play, except for the women, because I'm okay. Because the men are horrible.
Valid point.
Well, don't argue
Valid
that point.
No,
for me.
I'll give you that. I'll
Yeah.
give you that.
Well,
Baylor sucks.
It's
They,
So-
they robbed me of a title. Those
so
bastards.
before the podcast, we decided on who's going to go first with the game reviews, and
Stupid idiot.
as we each take a turn, we'll reveal our game and then give our review. So it's going to start with me, and then Steven, Zach, and then Colin will finish it up with his review. So,
So we say the worst for last.
no, he's actually got a good series. I like what he picked.
Yeah, fuck you.
I'm just messing with you, bro.
So,
Damn.
Here's Magnus Sub-Zero sucks. I'm not high-fiving you. Scorpion sucks too.
Yeah.
Yay! High fives for everybody.
Oh, God. So, the game that I picked...
Go ahead.
So, the game that I picked is the original Bioshock. Now, when I first got my Xbox 360, this was one game that I'd always heard a lot of people talk about, that it was a game-defining, maybe a generation game-defining game. And it looked really cool, and I figured I'd give it a try when I first got my Xbox 360. I really hadn't heard anybody say anything negative about it. Now, to kind of describe what this game entails, to just call it a first-person shooter doesn't really do this game justice. It's many things rolled up into one. It's first-person shooter, it's RPG, it's horror, it's really just sci-fi, good storytelling wrapped up and with a nice little bow on it, and they called it Bioshock. So, reasons why that I love this game. And I would say if I was going to give it out of 10 stars, I would probably give this a 9.8 out of 10.
Interesting.
It really, like, you'd have to really nitpick to go find something you're like, well, this is horrible. But I played the game on all difficulties. Really, I loved it every time I played it. It's a great game. So, reason why I love the game. It's probably got the best story of any game that I've ever played. It's one of those games that you feel a connection to all the characters that you come across in the game that are in the main story. There's no character that shows up that you don't really have an attachment to, or really you don't feel like some type of connection while you're playing the game. Each level of the game, there's, I think, 9. I might be wrong. It's been a while since I played. There's 9 sections, I believe, and they're really good sized areas. And out of all the sections, they each feel different. Like, you don't feel like you're playing the same section each and every level. They add a really good job of scenery to it to make it feel unique and fresh and authentic. And then the villains change as well. Like, the splicers, like there's a lot of splicers in the game. Splicer is like a genetically mutated, like one of the locals, crazy locals.
Okay. It's like our accents.
Yeah. Only they've got more.
Sorry, I just threw it out there.
They're actually more human than them.
Well, no, that's just weird.
They had it coming. So yeah, the characters are pretty unique in the game, and they're very well designed as well. One of the characters I want to talk about is the Big Daddy, and his job in the game is to protect the little sister, and I'll get into them here a little bit more in a second. But overall, like, well-designed villains, well-designed gameplay. The game actually starts off in a plane crash, so opens up, you see the main character.
Marshall?
No. Jesus.
What is wrong with you?
My God.
I'm just asking.
No, it's a nod to Lost. The opening of Bioshock is a nod to Lost.
I mean, the 39th best TV show.
Oh yeah. So the plane crashes. You swim yourself through the wreckage to get to the lighthouse. And once you make your way down there, you're greeted by a voice over the radio, and his name is Atlas. Well, Atlas is trying to enlist your help to help rescue his family from Andrew Ryan. And you're painted a very dark picture of Andrew Ryan and what he's actually allegedly done to the city and all its inhabitants there. Come to find out, you're actually in Rapture. And while you're there, Andrew Ryan has basically taken this area, and there is no God, there's no government. You kind of answer to your own person, and it's just to see what society would be like if there were really no rules and you just went and did what you felt like.
The Purge?
Sort of, maybe?
Sort of, but like not as...
I've never played a game, so I'm just asking.
Not as extreme.
Good deal.
So throughout this game, like the currency of this game, like they have cash, but like to buy your like human upgrades for like your plasmids, like your magic powers that you kind of have in the game, you have to have this genetic substance called Atom, which is harvested or gathered from little sisters. Now, this game allows you to pick if you want to be good, if you want to be bad. So if you go and have a bunch of
You
wholesale
can't be in
murder,
between.
actually you can. If you decide to like off half the little sisters and save half the little sisters, then you would get, I believe there's an in-between. I know in the second one there was an in-between in sequence.
I wasn't sure.
But it does impact your, what?
Which one were you? Or did you do both?
I did both, but I would prefer, if you're going to play the game, I would suggest doing it good because there are rewards given to you for saving them.
What?
You do get more Atom if you kill them, but if you save them, you also get a little bit extra Atom and like bonuses to help you, and they're more significant bonuses to keep them alive. So back to the main story, like you're down there in Rapture and you're fighting through all these obstacles that Andrew Ryan keeps just throwing and overflowing towards you to prevent you from getting to him. So throughout the game, Atlas he's just trying to get to his wife and kid. You get to a point in the game where you believe that his wife and child have been murdered by Andrew Ryan, and Atlas has a meltdown, and now the new objective is to go kill Andrew Ryan. So while going through the motions of the game and like all the cool stuff that pops up, you come to find out that while Andrew Ryan might be a horrible person, he's maybe not the worst person in the game. Because throughout the game, there's these like little audio logs that you can listen to, and it'll help direct you to treasure or certain parts of the game that has like really good ammunition. And these audio diaries also help you fill out parts of the story that you're not maybe privy to. So like some events that happen, it's like, well, I wonder why this is this, and these audio logs kind of fill in the blanks to the story. And I think they're really cool. They're like 30-second clips of dialogue. I think they're pretty cool. Yes, Colin.
The bees!
Yes. You can.
I was waiting for that.
You can murder opponents with bees in this. It's awesome.
That was the one thing me and you, or you played and I watched, and you did that for like an hour, and we were just laughing the entire freaking time doing that.
So also like the other nice thing is like the ammunition that you get. Like it's got a pretty good selection of weapons. You got a crossbow, a bazooka. You can beat the shit out of somebody with a wrench. You can set them on fire. You can electrocute them.
Ooh, that would be fun.
It's one of those games, like especially on the harder difficulties, you want to use the environment to your advantage. I can't stress enough that in the harder difficulties, you need to take advantage of the environment to survive. And going on with that, like as you progress into the story, and you finally get to Andrew Ryan, once you do kill him, you start to get hit with a curveball. So you go and kill Andrew Ryan with a golf club. After that, you are brought to the light, so to speak, on who Atlas really is. Because throughout the game, there's audio diaries and like signs on the wall saying how bad of a person this Frank Fontaine guy is. Come to find out, Atlas is Frank Fontaine. And he's kind of like a rogue gangster that monopolized some like really nasty like underground shit in Rapture. And he was trying to lead like an uprising against Andrew Ryan to take over the city. But turns out he actually needs your help to get to a certain part of the city, and the big reveal is Andrew Ryan is actually your dad. And you were brought down there to...
Kill your father, basically.
Well, not just kill him. Apparently you were programmed with like a code that's triggered with the phrase, "would you kindly?" Because throughout the game, you hear the words, "would you kindly?" quite a bit. And once that's said, like whatever is said afterwards, you automatically go do. So the game reveals to you that the game has actually played you this entire time. You've been doing all the hard work, and the game has been sitting back just pretty much laughing as you've been doing all of the really nasty shit that Frank Fontaine didn't want to do.
So you're like a puppet.
Essentially, yeah. It's one of those games, like when you get that reveal, you just put the controller down. I was like, I feel abused. I've been used. It's really a great game. I love Bioshock, and there is so much to cover and to go see in the game. Everything is so well depicted and just set up. It flows really well together. It's a really great game. And it'd be a game I would recommend that any of you guys play, because I think you guys would enjoy it. I know I kind of spoiled the game, but I mean, it's been out for so long, I'm surprised you guys haven't heard about
I'm pretty sure you can download it on the Xbox One if you have the Game Pass.
That sounds right, because it's one of their greatest hits on there.
Okay. I'm just saying, I'm just using that as like, in case like, you don't want to go out and buy it and everything like that, you can always download it and play it for as long as
They've
you want.
got a 3-pack, I believe, and it covers Infinite, 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
So you get the whole package.
Oh, there you go. Never mind.
But I mean, it's a great game. I love the game. There's a lot to it. I mean, good depth, good storytelling. The little sisters have a story. Like, it seems everybody in Rapture has their own story as to what's going on and what their motivations are. And some have darker motivations than others, and some are using people to further their own agendas. But I know I've kind of rambled on this, but...
So are you kind of hoping like that they come out with another one in the
I would be
future?
fucking thrilled. The nice part is, like...
No. Until we get Left 4 Dead 3, no more fucking games.
I'm actually surprised that hasn't came out yet.
Because they don't love us.
Well, the nice part is about Bioshock, like, they get into time travel in the latest one. Infinite actually is a pre-version of Bioshock.
Prequel.
So it goes Infinite, the events that happen in Infinite with Beryl at sea, Bioshock, and then a lot of people don't claim Bioshock 2 to be like part of the overall story.
Yeah, the canon.
Yeah, it's kind of like a standalone story that you get in Bioshock 2. I'd like to review that one later, but I don't know, I just really feel that Bioshock was a game that was kind of ahead of its time, and it helped define a lot of different things in gaming, a lot of stuff that got picked off from Bioshock for other games. Like I said, 9.8 is what I'd give it out of 10. I would highly recommend everybody play it at least once, or just try it out. Maybe just try the first couple levels and just get a feel for it. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not. I mean, you get to use like guns and crossbows and melee attacks, or if you're better off just like using elements, like in Skyrim you can have like a one-handed attack and then like your magic attacks.
The bees.
Yeah,
Use
you
bees.
can use bees, or in Infinite the bees are replaced with crows.
That's not as much fun.
The animation for the crows is pretty good, but
Oh, yeah,
I don't
it's-
want
It's not the bees.
to do any of that. But
It's a Nick Cage reference. Give me a break.
I know. I'm not
out of
saying
all the games that I've played for the 360, that's probably up there on my like personal favorites of all time. But I don't want to like ramble too much. I know you guys have a lot to cover too with yours, so
fun.
I'll let Steven here go ahead and...
So obviously, like I've kind of been, said in the past podcasts and everything, I'm very big on video games where they're fighting style. I grew up on Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, a lot of them. Later on, I grew up with games like Bioshock, Orange Box, Left 4 Dead, things
Great
like that.
games.
Huh?
Great games.
Very true. But when Scott brought this up to me, I actually had to take some time to think about it. I know him and I are going to kind of disagree on some aspects of the game that I'm getting ready
You mean how both your characters suck?
But the game I chose was Mortal Kombat Deception. It was actually released on the original Xbox and PlayStation 2. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's the 8th or 9th installment of Mortal Kombat. It's
I think it's the 8th.
Is it the 8th? Because 9 was PS3.
And the one that came on the 360.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And the most recent one was 7.
Yeah. So it's 8.
And 11 looks to be fucking awesome.
This is true. I love Mortal Kombat franchise. But basically, if you've never played a Mortal Kombat game, obviously you know what the basis of these games. You're gonna select characters. You're gonna fight each other. You're obviously gonna try and fight up to Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn, Shinnok, Kintaro, Goro, everybody like that. Deception, in my eyes, was the first one that kind of played off the previous game of Deadly Alliance. In Deadly Alliance, you had Quan Chi, who was a big-time sorcerer, and Shang Tsung actually team up to take over Earthrealm. In Deception, they play off that storyline. So in the beginning of the game, when you first start up, there is a story where it becomes Shang Tsung and Quan Chi are going against Raiden to take over Earthrealm in the Mortal Kombat Evolve. Obviously, Raiden kind of gets up on him for a little bit, but then Shang Tsung and Quan Chi, gang up on him and defeat him, and then Shang Tsung and Quan Chi turn on each other because they want the most power. Obviously, I'm pretty sure Quan Chi defeated Shang Tsung, but in the midst of him gaining the power, a bigger foe, who is called the Dragon King, Onaga, comes in and basically takes over Outworld. And in the midst of it, you have an unlikely alliance of Quan Chi, Raiden, and Shang Tsung all trying to defeat Onaga, which ensues Mortal Kombat Deception. The one thing that I liked about this game, probably more than any of them, was there was so much to do actually in the game. Yes, you have, the towers that you usually do. Every Mortal Kombat has them. The other thing they had was, this might actually appeal to you, Scott, it was a chess mode.
I played the game. I sat with you.
I know, but they don't know that.
Oh, well, yeah, I liked the chess game. That was good.
Well, I also know you're a big fan of chess, too.
Yes.
One of the things that made it really interesting was anytime you tried to take one of the pieces, you had to fight it out at an actual event. The other thing they had is they had a puzzle mode, which I like to call the Tetris. You basically select fire, you play Tetris. Same, pretty easy concept. The other thing was a conquest mode, and Scott can attest to this, that I hated this mode, but it is such a great mode.
Yes,
but it takes up a lot of time. Basically, what conquest mode is you are a young warrior named Shujinko, and you go around to different realms and you gain powers by defeating each person. One is Bill Raicho, one is Scorpion, one is Sub-Zero, one is Cabal, Havoc, Kenshi.
Yes, Kenshi.
Kenshi took me forever to do.
Quick side story. So I'm spending the night at Steven's house one night, and Steven's over rage quitting on this game, and he is getting excessively angry.
Pissed me off.
And I was over playing on the computer. I come over, I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "I can't fucking beat him." So I really wasn't familiar with Kenshi's character. Kenshi's blind, and he's beating the shit out of Steven.
Oh, poor Javi. You got beat up by a blind man.
Bite me.
I'm not kidding you. He spent 3 hours trying to beat Kenshi, and what he was talking about, trying to obtain the powers, you had to do a certain configuration of their moves, and he was doing everything right, but for whatever reason,
it was timing.
when they would pop him up in the air from an attack, Steven couldn't get the the punch or the kick or whatever to time correctly, and it was failing him each and every time. For a few minutes, I thought it was a glitch, but I think you turned it off and turned it back on, and you still had the same problem.
Yeah, like I did it 4 times, but then like I think it was like a week later I did it like on the first try and I was perfectly fine. I don't know if it was because I've been playing for 7 hours straight, but you know, whatever. It was
Good games, you fucking binge.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the first games since God of War that I actually sat down and played a really good Mortal Kombat game. Which, by the way, God of War, fantastic game. We'll do that one later.
Fantastic series.
You're terrible, Colin. Shut up.
Sit down, Colin.
So, back to Mortal Kombat Inception. The other good thing that I thought it had was it had a lot of character depth. You had 24. Huh?
I said yes. Yes, it did.
Here we go. It had, honestly, 24 characters to choose from, which, at the time, other than Trilogy, I'm pretty sure other than Mortal Kombat Trilogy, had the most characters that you could do. A couple of characters that I wanted to go into in depth with was, one, I kind of feel like this game was based around Scorpion, and I believe that it's actually still based around Scorpion because he's a highly, highly popular character. Shout out Scott.
I mean, you picked the good ones, so.
I mean,
It sucks.
the big rivalry that's been going on is like obviously Sub-Zero and Scorpion. I've always been a big Sub-Zero fan. Scott is a Scorpion fan. Excuse me. Honestly, until this game. Shut up. Shut up, Colin. I actually had 2 favorite characters on this game to use, and the first one was Noob Smoke. Fantastic character. Basically what it was 2 characters in one. If a lot of people don't know, Smoke is a ninja warrior. He's gray, and he goes in those builds just like Reptile. Noob Saibot is a like Shadow, essentially is what he is. Mm-hmm. And basically you can kind of play off each other, and as the game goes on, you kind of learn what you can and cannot do with them. Later in the game, Smoke is basically one of my favorite characters to use, especially to piss off others. Scott.
I hated playing you with them.
Yeah,
really
no, there's no. Yeah, but
Nightwolf. That piece of shit.
that's my second one. That's my second favorite character in the Mortal Kombat series after that. Basically, this character is a cheap character, and Scott can attest to that.
That explains the messages that we
Bow.
got in the group.
He has 2 attacks to see when used. He'd use the bow. When you're stunned from the bow, he does it like a shoulder tackle. Then he backs up, does the bow, shoulder tackle.
So he's like John Cena.
Yeah, pretty much, only I hate Nightwolf more. It would just get, like, these matches with Steven, like, he would get the timing right, and if he got you locked into that, you were fucked. It wouldn't matter, because there wasn't any escaping him, because of how, like, well he was at timing everything, because he used it so much. But, like, that's just one of the characters. Like, there's so many characters that game had.
Yeah, I mean, like,
And a lot of them were really good.
there were, and like there was a lot of other characters, like Scott was saying. Another one of my favorite was Cobra. Kind of wanting to like go into one story to another, but like a lot of the characters that were in this game were actually based off of previous characters or based off previous storylines. Cobra was based off of Cabal, and so was Darius and Dararu, Li Mei. I mean, a lot of these characters that you see in this game are based off of other characters, and you don't realize it. They have different clans: the Black Dragon, Earthrealm, Outworld, Netherrealm. So many different things to do in this game. Very, very highly enjoyable game that I liked. I kind of talked about my favorite characters. My least favorite character was probably Ashra, mainly because she was a female version of Raiden. I feel like they kind of got lazy with that character development. I mean, she literally had like almost the exact same stuff as Raiden.
They're pretty deep on characters, so they're going to be bound.
Of course,
But I think the newer generation, like with the kids,
yeah,
pretty fresh take on them. I really like what they're doing with them.
yeah.
Good direction, I think, for them.
You just like Takeda.
But I love Mortal Kombat, so I'm gonna have a biased opinion here of it.
You just like Takeda. She's good as Scorpion's kid.
Oh my god.
That was my thought too.
Sucks.
But I mean, my overall reaction,
And swallows.
I would probably say give it an 8. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not for everybody. Not everybody likes fighting games like I do. You know, it was one of my favorites other than Mortal Kombat 9. But like I said, you know, really great game. Had a lot to do. Chess mode, combat mode. Fatalities were very, very good. Some of them were very, very gory, which made it even better interesting. Other than that, like I said, gave it an 8. Highly enjoyed the game. And I'd like to turn it over to Zach here before he falls asleep.
I'm not falling asleep. I'm just chilling, man.
A running joke.
You're more in danger of me falling asleep. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep right now.
Well, that's your own damn fault,
Chug
man.
that sugary drink, buddy.
Not my fault.
Chuck.
Really, you didn't have to go Pokemon hunting.
That's true, but I caught 3 shinies, so worth it.
Worth it.
Actually, 4 shinies. I caught a shiny Lugia.
Okay, so
Yeah.
for my game, I'm going to do a little bit of a newer one. I'm going to do Call of Duty World War II. Jesus.
Speak of English.
I said World at War is kind of old, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit. So, this is the first Call of Duty in 10 years that has gone back to the original format where it's all World War II, which is fantastic. If you're a history buff like I am, it's fantastic. And, well, you probably like it. I don't know if you're a big first-person shooter.
Mine is first-person shooter also, so.
Yeah, okay, well. But anyway, so basically, in this game, you're a private in the army. And the very first thing you kind of roll into, and you're with your monk mates, and you know, there's a very interesting storyline. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to ruin it.
We kind of said fuck that with ours. I mean, ours have been out for a while though, so.
Right. Well, and this is newer, so I mean, I'm not gonna try to ruin the story for you. But I would suggest you play that before you go to the multiplayer. I know everybody on Call of Duty loves multiplayer, just simply because, you know, it. For whatever reason, I'm an achievement whore, so I like to. I really like to play the storyline first, get the achievements that I can get right then and there, get them out of the way, and then do the multiplayer. Which is, I mean, multiplayer in this game is fantastic, but I'll get to it in a minute.
Prostitution with a plan.
Exactly. So, the pros to this game in 4K, and I'm playing on the Xbox One, of course, but the pros to this game is the voice acting is incredible. It is one of the best Call of Duty storylines and voice acting that I have probably ever seen. Josh Duhamel, I don't know if you guys know him.
I'm not familiar with
He's
that.
in the Transformers series. He's also in the TV show Las Vegas. And he's doing the new Tupac and Who Killed Tupac and Biggie Smalls on USA. Incredible. He's the main. I like to call him the Deadpool character because he's not exactly good, but he's not exactly bad either. But
There's only one Deadpool, fuck off.
I said Deadpool character.
I don't give a damn, there's only one Deadpool, fuck off.
Anyway,
Second one coming up too.
in this one you get to make more decisions. So in this game, cover is the most important thing that you're going to be able to want to have. Like you can still go out and fight it like Rambo and just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna run through everything and just blow shit up. You can do that. You're probably gonna die a little bit more than normal. Or you can sit behind a rock in a tree and you can just start picking people off one by one, and it's more tactical. You can make the decision on the way that you like to play the game.
It's up to play style, I guess.
Yeah, it's a play style thing. I mean, personally, there are some levels that I like to run through and just fuck people's shit up. There are other times that I'm just like, okay, you know what? It makes more sense if I find cover. I stay down and stay away from the bullets that are flying over my head or just right above me. Which is really it's fun. the coolest thing on the whole game that I thought throughout the storyline is they focused a lot of attention to capturing Paris, like retaking Paris after the Nazis had taken it, and it's something that you don't get to see very often. Like they go Normandy, they do that battle, let's get to the next battle. This one, it's a build up to try to free Paris from the Nazis, to get it back, because they were trying to blow up the Eiffel Tower. It's a big thing. Hitler hated the Eiffel Tower. He thought it was the ugliest thing he's ever seen in his entire life. Blah 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 blah. But the underground was cool. He did a couple of game modes with them, or a couple of stories with them. I thought for sure that they're going to do something later with the resistance. Hopefully. The only things that I really didn't like about this game is they always start with the Normandy campaign. They don't start anything else. It's always Normandy. Gotta start there. Gotta start there. Gotta start there.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it. That's typically where the tide change. I mean, you don't want to. I guess for most of these type of things, you don't want to go in there and be like, "Hey, you're gonna fight in this battle." Oh, in history, the Americans got destroyed in this battle. Blah blah blah. You know. And then,
Yeah, no, we're not going to show that.
yeah, we're not. We're just gonna show the parts where they started kicking the shit out of everybody and
Right.
proved our dominance as a country.
But see, for me, I would much rather start in somewhere where people don't know, like Italy. That was the hardest climb.
Africa.
Or even
No, there was wars in Africa.
That's
yeah,
true.
There was
I
battles
mean,
in Northern
even
Africa.
start in Africa, or even start, somewhere in Asia,
Japan.
or the Russians when they fought off the Nazis after
Yeah.
in '42.
Yeah.
But I don't like. I'm not a fan of the Normandy because they don't do the battle justice. Because it's like you said, they don't bring in up the fact that 1 in every 4 or every 3 soldiers that were jumping to Normandy died or were killed. So you got wave after wave. Well, they're not going to depict that
Yeah.
because we're slanted so much into our history.
Well, that's one of the funny things about Normandy. It's not really funny, actually. It's a horrible thing. But not everybody died by getting shot. Some people drowned getting off the boats.
Yeah, right. And they don't. The games don't go into that kind of detail, which me as a historian, I would like that.
Yeah, but no, I mean, no offense, I mean, it's with all due respect, but they're not, I mean, yes, they're going towards a historian, but they're also going towards the gamer.
Right.
Of, like, the important events. It's kind of like, that's why I think that they don't go towards the unknown spot, they go to the important events. So it's like, get there.
They're just cherry picking for playability.
Yeah,
all.
exactly.
And they're not going to pick anywhere that we're going to lose. So most of from in 1941 to 1942-ish, 43-ish, they're not going to show most of that stuff over in
France.
in Asia because we were getting destroyed by the Japanese until
Oh yeah. And
midway
And you were still getting destroyed by the Nazis.
up until '94, up until Normandy.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, because you have the U-boats and all that. But what, let's freshen it up a little bit. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I feel like some of the levels that they had put into this game should have been longer, because Battle of the Bulge, for example, huge battle. Everybody knows the Battle of the Bulge.
It's Belgium.
Yeah, it's a huge thing.
I know history.
Well, they do this. The level is literally 15 minutes.
Really?
It cuts off, the month-long battle that was the Battle of the Bulge.
I mean, you don't want to fight for a month, but yeah.
Well, but I mean, I would want to play that in parts. Like, this is what you do in part 1. Then in part 2, this is what you do. And then part 3, because it's just like it's a snapshot. It's not like, okay, hey, let's slow it down because this is huge. It's like Normandy. It's huge. But I understand that you're trying to push a time limit or a data limit because you have to download everything for the Xbox now, which is stupid.
Agreed.
Um,
Already been here.
Multiplayer. Let's get to that. Camping is still a major.
It's going to be in every game. Every first-person shooter is the same way.
It sucks. I mean, multiplayer is very, very fun, especially on 4K because blood flies everywhere when you lob a grenade like it's supposed to in real life.
Yeah.
We watch parts fall off of bodies, and it's awesome in 4K. There's a lot of stealth in this game, and I'm not one of those big stealth kind of players. I like to shoot it out, bang it out. I don't like to okay, you have to sneak up on this person, use your trench knife or a shovel to kill people with. Like, that's not how I like to play this. I like to go out blowing shit up. But if you like it, I mean, that's good for you, but I'm not a big stealth kind of guy. And just to kind of close this off, I would really like to see, Activision stay with the original and Treyarch do the futuristic stuff, because Treyarch's very good at their futuristic stuff. Activision, in my opinion, does better World War. Let's expand it out to Vietnam and Korea, because that would be awesome.
Civil War.
Yeah, even going to the Civil War would be fun. Let's see. There's so much to do in these games. It is going to take you more than just a few hours to complete it. Like, if you want to complete everything, get all the achievements, you're going to put 10 plus hours in easily. Very, very easily.
But also his gameplay is really good too.
Oh, the gameplay is fantastic. Because you can do basically, they're trying to open the world up in Call of Duty a little bit. That way you can make decisions, because you can save people. If a German surrenders and he's going to pull a grenade out, you can shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to get to watch them blow up your buddy. You're going to have the opportunity to save that person, which is awesome. It's giving you more freedom to do the heroic things that you hear about in history, which is awesome. So that's kind of what I'd like to see. Activision take over just the original kind of series, and then Treyarch take over the futuristic stuff. And that's what I've got.
You said you gave that a 8 out of 10, right?
8.5, 9. I mean, it is a good game. I mean, if you're not into first-person shooting, if you're not kind of the historian like I am and Colin is, you're not going to like it as much, I don't think. But if you like first-person shooters, it's a great first-person shooter.
Alright, that's fair.
Mine's sort of in the same vein as far as first-person shooters. It was tough because I love the entire series of Halo. Point blank, I love reading the books. They actually have a long line of books. I think it's up to 12 or 13
They have
books now.
a deep line of lore.
Which are pretty much all canon. I chose Halo 1, mainly because that was the first one. I played all the way through them.
Good pick.
You can start it however you want. There's a prequel, Halo Reach. It's very good.
Was it only for PlayStation?
No, it's all for Xbox. It's not for Xbox.
Halo's Xbox only.
Yeah.
Halo is Xbox only, and computer. You can get it on PC, but it's not on PlayStation or Nintendo. But Halo Reach is pretty good. I enjoyed that. If you want to play the prequel, you can go Halo Reach all the way through to Halo 5, and if you really want to, you can do ODST, but it's not really important to the main story. Halo Reach doesn't follow Master Chief though, like the first 5 does. It follows the Spartan ones, I believe, that came before Master Chief. And what happens in that one is Reach is a planet way outside of the main grouping, and they run into an alien group on this planet called Harvest, and they destroy Harvest and just annihilate it because they're an alien race that believes that we're all horrible people and we need to be, exterminated. And they get to Reach, and Reach is the big military planet. Like, it's all military stuff. And they go through and they just kick the shit out of everybody. Because it's early on in the war, we're not prepared for them. And it's what we would expect if we fought an alien race.
Yeah,
We're gonna get our ass kicked.
they're gonna build up the story.
Yeah. So they reach the very last mission is pretty cool because it's literally everybody in your squad has died. You're the last person left, and essentially you just fight elites and grunts and whatever you can until you die. That's the end of the game of Halo Reach is you die because that's what happens to all of them. They all die in the game. Sorry. Whatever.
Well,
it's been out since 2007 or something.
For the 3 games we picked, we can kind of get away with spoiling some stuff. Zax's is the newest of the 4.
But in fairness to him, if you don't know what happened in World War II, you need to open up a history book.
We won.
We're still here and we're not speaking German, so
or Japanese.
Or Japanese, so we won. But Halo Reach is pretty good. Halo 1, though, the best part about Halo 1, and especially the Halo series, is you can play them on Xbox One, and you can get the graphics from the Xbox One, so you don't even have to play the original. And that's the best part about the Halo series, and that's why I love them so much. There's a button you can push to flip between the old and new graphics.
Ooh.
Not even joking. You'll
That's
seriously, you can just dick around, and you'll be like, well, I want to see what this looked like on the original game. Because if you haven't played it in a couple
Oh, I
years, it's just like,
remember this.
oh yeah, and it's completely different. It looks like the original Halo 1 from the Xbox.
I wish, is that exclusive to just Halo?
As far as I know, I don't think any other game
Because
can bounce back and
That would
forth.
be really cool, if you could update, say if you want to play, Bioshock or Mortal Kombat or maybe Batman.
Right.
Well, that's why Microsoft is doing the whole remasters of a lot of their big games.
Yeah.
So that you can see what it would look like on the Xbox One, or coming from the Xbox to the Xbox One.
You can have a nostalgia moment.
Yeah,
Basically.
that's pretty cool. I like that
I
feature.
swear it just actually is that
The
true.
key here's the thing though, if you play it on the old style, you can't get achievements. All the achievements are tied to the new style.
Oh.
It's interesting, but you can do both. So what I was doing was I was just playing it until I got to a point where I needed an achievement, and I flipped
Do
it
you
back.
have to pay for that feature, or is it
Nope.
just
It's built into the game.
then why would they have you?
Poops and giggles. Some people don't. Some people don't care about achievements. Some people just want some nostalgia.
Oops
So,
and giggles.
well, and one of the biggest things, I'll get to the online part, but the Halo storyline is, you face aliens, you beat the shit out of them,
Yeah.
and you win. And it's your one man, and you got a bunch of Marines, but they're basically useless. I basically killed them off. I killed them all off because they were a waste of space. They're annoying, they're a waste of space. And they,
Annoying and they're a waste of
oh god, they're
space.
awful. If you sit there in the gunner seat and let them drive, they drive into walls, and so you just drive, and then they.
So
they're
wait,
bad
wait,
shit.
wait, hang on.
In the original, now
Wait. So these guys are supposed to help you in driving through
don't help.
walls?
They don't help. They don't help at all.
No, but what I'm saying is
They're
the purpose of them is to help you.
Yeah,
And they run into walls.
yeah, they're useless. They're cannon fodder. They're there for me to help.
They gave you the 2016 or 17 Browns to come help you.
Yeah,
God.
the game in reality is a lot of fun. And there's a couple different ones. There's a mission that's strictly stealth related. And you go around with sniper rifles and you try and cap elites and get rid of grunts and other aliens. And then there's ones where it's gung ho and you shoot the shit out of hunters and
Blow shit up.
and kill everything and jackals and everything you can get a hold of. And then they introduce a third enemy. There's two different enemies in the game. So there's three factions. Now, there's the humans, obviously, and there's the Covenant, which are the aliens. There's also a group called the Flood.
Oh God, I hate
The
that.
Flood are a disease, they're a parasite. And it actually was built by the Forerunners, because you land on a halo, that's why it's called Halo. And it's a weapon system that you land on. And it's designed to kill the Flood. What actually it turns out, it's not designed to kill the Flood, it's designed to kill the Flood's food. Us and the Covenant. And it blows the shit out of everything if it goes off. And there's 7 rings that have to go off. And so this Flood essentially just they have these little egg things that are easy to kill, but they'll fuck your shit up because they come in big packs, like 40, 50 little eggs.
Deep, yeah.
And they have these carriers that they explode and cause damage like a grenade sort of deal, and they release more eggs. And then all the others, once they capture an alien or a human, they respawn as the Flood. So what you'll see is, at times, if you shoot a Covenant and knock them down, and then one of the eggs will jump into the body and it'll reanimate. So you have to kill it multiple times. And it's a pain in the ass.
That's always fun.
Oh, it's a pain in the ass.
Did you ever play like on the harder difficulty and have to do that?
Yeah, no, I wasn't very good at that. No, stuck to the lower levels where I belong. But one of the funniest things about the game, especially in the original, they kind of cut it out of the newer ones. But if you played the original one, if you shot the lens off some of the Flood, they would follow you around, but they couldn't do any damage to you because they could carry weapons and shoot you. And they also have these like little tentacle things they can hit you with. But if they don't have any of those, they just stand behind you and they don't do anything to you. Like, you just have little followers walking behind you. And me and my brother used to do that all the time. We just shoot the lens off and just have them follow around like, they're no longer a threat to us. We don't care about them. Why waste the ammo?
More useful than the guys running into the wall.
Yeah, pretty much. They're a lot better. But it's interesting. I loved it. I wish they could have done some more things with it. One of the biggest things, obviously the original one didn't have multiplayer. It had like co-op multiplayer sort of deal. You could play, two people on missions through it, and then you could also play 4-player local, which was fun.
LAN parties.
Yeah, one of the coolest achievements on there is if you go to the new version and you play on a map called Blood Gulch. And what the map is, and you play Capture the Flag 4-player on local, that's an achievement. Because that was the original game that they would play. And Halo spawned one of the best internet shows of all time, Red vs. Blue, if you haven't heard them, by Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, that's a pretty good show. I like that.
All based around the Halo. They're not really canon, but they use the Halo game, so and that helped make me get into it more. The biggest thing with it that I wish they would have done with the map or with the game as far as multiplayer is concerned is it's usually one-on-one, not one-on-one, like the 2 teams. And then you can do little things like every man for himself and stuff like that. But I always wanted, like a Flood version where you could have 3 teams, and one was a Flood, one was a Covenant, one was the humans, and you just shoot the shit out of each other, the best team wins. But they never really did that. As far as I know, they might have added it to 5. I didn't really play the online version of 5. I just played through the story. But if you really think about it, you've got essentially 6 games of story, and they're all interconnected somehow, and you can play them through it. The worst map is the library. It typically takes about an hour and a half, and it's when you deal with the Flood solely. It is a pain in the ass. It's a lot of ducking and diving, getting through little mazes and shit. It's, oh my freaking god! You almost need a guide to get through it because it's a pain in the ass. Like if you're not paying attention, you have no idea what you're doing.
I've played some games that had moments like that.
Yeah, and it's a nightmare. But the game overall is a blast. I had so much fun playing it as a kid. I have fun playing it now as an adult. I've gotten a lot of the achievements, just not the legendary, going through the legendary mode. But no thank you. Tried it once, got my ass whooped. No thank you. I'm done with that. I'm not that damn good. But the game's fun. I'd say if you want to just look at the Xbox version, the original 8.9, maybe a 9, it was pretty revolutionary for its time.
Is that what IGN gave it? Was a 9?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, yeah. It was a very good game. The more recent one, I bumped it up even higher because it adds an element that most people aren't used to, and it's flipping back and forth.
That is something that's actually revolutionary.
Yeah, I've never seen.
That's something I want to go back and look and see if I've got other games maybe I could do that with.
Yeah.
Because it'd be cool to play like games on a newer system, but keep the old original look to it and the feel.
Yeah.
But
Well, you can get all 4 Halo games and ODST. I don't know if they still have ODST on there. I got it on a deal because but when they originally came out with this Master Chief Collection, it was the first 4 games, and you could play it all the way through, and it was one big one big thing that you just downloaded on it, and oh my god, it's so much fun. You just play 1 through 4, get all the achievements. It's like about 8,000, 9,000 achievement points to go through the whole set of games. You can get ODST, I think, still. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to look that up. But I'm pretty sure you can pay for it's like $5 probably. And it's not bad. It's
not bad.
The ODST is way different though, because it's more like World War II or like regular Call of Duty. You're usually regular people, so you're more. It's harder to get through, and you're more likely to die than Master Chief.
Right.
Okay.
Game's a blast. I have so much fun doing it. Unless you play against Kyle, it's not fun anymore. That's not a fun game.
Fucking
Yeah.
that's
Then that man can play with his feet and still beat us. It was sad.
I watched him do it.
It was a sad.
It was bad. So is that all you have on Halo, or?
Play Halo. It's good stuff. If you like first-person shooters, read the books. The books are good too. If you don't like games and you like reading books, read books. They're good. It's like I'd compare it to like the Star Trek or the Star Wars series as far as books. They're pretty good. They go all over the fucking place though. So
cool.
Be careful. They're not all about the Master Chief.
Well, I think that's everything we got for this week's episode, isn't it? Or
As far as I'm
We
aware.
have a little bit of time. We could talk about something else, just not. Or we could not. I don't know.
well, I mean, we'll cut it for this because we have some pretty big topics we're going to get into in the coming weeks. That'll probably run a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to fill them in on what we're doing next week?
Yeah, next week we've got a game we're gonna play. Well, not really a game, like a comparison, like.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
As Colin forgets because he doesn't read
As we're in the WrestleMania season and we're going to be drawing closer each day, obviously, we've decided to each pick 10 matches from all the WrestleManias that have happened from 1 through 33. But the catch is, if you pick a wrestler, say you pick like Shawn Michaels, you're only allowed to use Shawn Michaels one time. So if you pick Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, you couldn't use Undertaker in any of his other matches, Shawn in any of his other matches. You would get that one Undertaker-Shawn match, and that would count as one of your 10 matches. So we're going to go 1 through 10, and this isn't necessarily what we feel the top 10 greatest WrestleMania matches. It's just the 10 we think would make the coolest, like, dream card. The ultimate WrestleMania pick game.
I mean, I'm sure we're going to have differences of opinion on it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the nice thing about this. Different perspectives on topics.
We all have different perspectives, and that's kind of what I feel like, brings this together is, we have different views on different games, and even different topics. Hell, look at everything we did today. You did an RPG shooter, I did fighting, you did what, RPG?
Shooter.
First person.
First person shooter, and then you had...
First-person shooter!
So this is actually a horrible example that you used.
But his original was
His was
Forza.
mine was a sci-fi first-person shooter. I was originally gonna do either Forza or Gran Turismo.
I'm glad you went with Halo.
Well, because Forza I had to go through and redownload because I deleted the games because I need to make room for new games.
Terrible.
I need to make room for new games. Sorry, I got things to do.
Like what? Sit
Other
down and
new
sleep?
games. I have 3 hours of sleep. Fuck you. I got up for this.
No, you didn't get up to go Pokemon hunting. There's a
That's
difference.
true, but I stayed up. I could have taken a nap.
That's right, you
They
did.
offered Taco Bell. I wasn't gonna go to sleep, but
Probably.
and then Gran Turismo. I've spaced. I was gonna play Gran Turismo this morning so I could remember some of the stuff for the topic, and I was like, and then I forgot. And when I woke up, I was like, oh, we gotta go Pokemon hunting. Well, I know Halo more than probably any other game, so I'm gonna roll with that.
Safe bet.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Go Brutes.
But
I didn't mention them, so I had to mention them. Where's the other one? They have engineers too. I remembered all the aliens.
I think we'll go ahead and call this a wrap for this week's edition. So for Scott,
Steve?
Zach?
Colin.
here at Four Corners Podcast, make sure to like, subscribe, comment on the videos, and let us know what you want to hear next.
Share.
And share, yeah, definitely share. Get more people to listen to us yell at each other.
Yeah. We need to do a topic where we yell at each other because I feel like
We did that last week, remember?
no. I yelled at you guys because I got fucked over.
Alright, but before that turns into another rant, guys, we will see you next week. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much for supporting us and subscribing. It really means a lot to us, and thank you very much.
And now it's time to take a nap. So
See you guys later.